Okay, so Lindsey's a busy mom of two little girls under the age of 2. She has two passions, personal training and helping people find an easier way of eating right in America today. We know that's trouble. She has her Bachelor's of Science degree in physical education and health and has been a personal trainer for 11 years. She has combined her personal training business with a fabulous nutrition program, where in the year 2015, she had one of the fastest growing teams in North America, which helped her to build her business to NMD in only 18 months. That's awesome. Lindsey, of course, gets her competitive edge from her NCAA Division I gymnastics days at Southern Utah University, which inspires her to work closely with not only top-notch elite athletes from the Olympic Training Center in Colorado Springs, but also the average American in making simple changes in their diet and exercise every day that add up big time when you calculate the days over the course of a year. So I am so freaking excited for Lindsey to take over this call, girl.
Awesome. Well, and if you guys could mute out your lines too, it was really, really noisy. I know Jamie, Amy, Julie, you guys are not muted out, so it just makes it better for everybody to be able to hear if you can mute. Awesome. Thank you. So that just leaves Jamie Matthews. Oh, she's on here twice. Weird. Okay. Well, we'll see how it works. So anyway, thank you guys for having me on the call. I am honored to be here and to kind of share my story with you guys. And as Stacy had said, a lot of people use a lot of excuses as to why not to do this business. But I like to use all the excuses of why to do the business. But, it's a little bit different when you don't have a boss, and it's a little bit different when you don't have somebody. There's no penalty for being late to work. There's no penalty if you don't hit a promotion, and that sort of thing. So we kind of thrive on that. Like, everyday life is from when we're little, we kind of thrive on, oh, don't do that or else, because there's a penalty, right? Don't show up to late work because there's a penalty. You might get fired or whatever. But in this business, we really have to be self-motivators and work as the team to help motivate each other. And you guys are so lucky to be able to work with Stacy, because she has such this amazing energy that is just absolutely contagious, which is how we became friends, Stace, right? So you guys are so lucky to have her as your leader. But we're going to just kind of talk about some of the things today that you guys might be struggling with, and feel free to unmute and ask questions and everything as we go along here. But a lot of people's questions is, you're a personal trainer. How is it that you hopped into Juice Plus? Because a lot of people want fitness professionals on their team, right? Does anybody have like a fitness professional in mind that they're like, yes, please, like they'd be perfect, right? They're on your dream team or whatever. So I'd like to give some advice on that right off the bat, and then we can kind of go into the T120 and how I utilize it. But first off, as a fitness professional, we think we know it all. We're very hot-headed. And correct me if I'm wrong, but the person you guys are thinking of having joined the team, they already know it all, and they already give nutrition advice, and they don't necessarily need some advice from some layperson off the street, right? That, like, I have my degree in physical education and health, and I knew it all, right? I had actually seen Juice Plus 3 years prior to joining Juice Plus, and the advice I'm going to give you, the gal who initially introduced me to Juice Plus is going to be really mad she didn't tell me what I'm going to tell you guys, because I'd be on her team and not somebody else's, right? So she would have had an NMD in 18 months. So what I encourage you guys to do, and not just talking to health professionals, but anybody in general, what was really important to me as a personal trainer is that Juice Plus was real food, right? So that's what I always recommended to my clients. It's really cool hearing that we're the #1 nutritional product in the world, and then we have all of these scientific backing, but most of all that our ingredients are food, right? So one of the things, since we know it all as health professionals, that I recommend is that you don't utilize the word Juice Plus in anything. So actually you can come up with whatever name you want. Our team is utilizing health food agencies, because people, when they ask you, what do you do, right? We automatically say what our first profession is. I automatically say I'm a personal trainer. And then I say, then I've partnered with Juice Plus. And people are like, oh, cool, good for you. Right? They think they know what Juice Plus is. They think that it's a multivitamin, and I already have a job, so I don't need another job. Why would I be interested in either angle of that, right? Because I know it all. right? But if you were to tell me that you own a health food agency or you work with the #1 nutritional product in the world, it's going to perk my ear up a little bit more. And if you say, gosh, after all, the ingredients are just fruits and vegetables, that's what I recommend, and tell me a powering story behind that, it's going to get me interested right off the bat, and keep the curiosity going, right? I'm not going to tell you it's Juice Plus. Actually, usually most of my meetings last about an hour long with new business prospects, and I don't say the word Juice Plus one time. Is that crazy? Are you guys using Juice Plus, the word Juice Plus and everything? So we want to be careful to not vomit Juice Plus over people, right? Like, Juice Plus this and Juice Plus is so great. And like, we know it's so great, but like, also if I know it all, then I don't need a multivitamin and I don't need another supplement to recommend. And I know as a personal trainer, I had been approached by Advocare, Beachbody, Isagenix, Arbonne, you name it, right? Everybody wants health professionals on their team. And so I wasn't interested in one more thing adding to my plate. However, it did intrigue me to make another stream of income. And what intrigued me about it is that it was actual food. So what I say in every single pitch, whether it's the business or a customer, I take time to explain how it's made. And I break it down really easy. We try and make it as simplistic as possible. And the easier you keep it, the more likely you're going to get a customer or a team member from it. So I'll kind of take you guys through how we go about doing that. But first off, the first thing I literally start with is a question. How many fruits and vegetables do you guys think that you get in a day? Right? Or do you even know the recommended serving to get in a day? Right? Most people don't know that. A personal trainer of 11 years and I did not know. Is that crazy? Stacy, did you know that as a nurse? You're muted still. Sorry.
No, I didn't know that many. It was more like 3 to 5 is what I remember.
Right.
Well, yeah. So 9 to 13, I was like, what? Yeah.
Right. So right off the bat, you're telling me I don't know it all, right? That you might have some valuable information for me. 7 to 13, most trainers don't know that, okay? And you don't need a 4-year degree to be a trainer. So I guarantee you, probably if I didn't know it, most trainers aren't familiar with it. So that's going to perk my ear right off the bat. And then if you say, did you know that you can get 30 different fruits and vegetables and 7 to 13 servings just by swallowing a capsule? Did you know that exists? Isn't that freaking cool? Yeah, it's crazy. I thought it was nuts too, but they take the apple, they take the orange, they take the whole food and they throw it in a blender. They take out the sugar and sodium, which is awesome, especially if you guys do any competition. I don't know if anybody is interested in talking with trainers that do the stage competitions or whatever, but they cut out all fruits and vegetables because of the sugar content and the sodium content, right? So you take out the sugar, you take out the sodium of that fruit and vegetable slurry. They dry it into a big fruit roll-up and crumble it into a fine powder. And that fine powder goes into a capsule and you can swallow it. Isn't that cool? Right? And their ears are perked 100% by now. I guarantee you that, right? And still, you don't say Juice Plus. It's just, you're like, this exists. Isn't that the coolest thing you've ever heard? Right? And then I've seen this, that, and the other thing happen. I feel this in my workout, and relate it back to you and your story. So typically people are interested and they're begging for more information. And that's when I tell them about the T120. We do the T120 really simple. We literally say our products come in a 4-month supply because that is how long it takes our cellular turnover to happen. Now, I always say you're not obligated for 4 months whatsoever. In fact, we have 100% money back guarantee. But most people after 30 days of trying it want to continue for that duration. So I relate it back to my story. I used to have really bad acne. And yes, it took 4 months for the acne to completely disappear. And I wasn't expecting it to touch it. Nothing had ever touched my acne my entire life. And here I was, the healthiest personal trainer there ever was. So why would something like this help, right? And so I always say, gosh, I was glad I waited it out for the 4 months because of what happened for me. Just think of what could possibly happen for you in 4 months. So that commits them to 4 months right away because I say I was just like you, right? You have to relate to these people, right? Think about when you first got asked to order 4 months worth of capsules. Were you guys a bit shocked of like 4 months, like, dude, I just want to try this, right? So I say, I was just like you. Cool thing is you only pay for 30 days of it, right? So our program will completely detoxify your system. You throw in 2 shakes a day, which is awesome because we don't have time to cook anyway, right? So 2 of your meals are already taken care of. You have to worry about 1 meal. And for that 1 meal, we like you to go gluten and dairy free. Does that sound like something you can do? You make it just so easy. 2 shakes a day and you throw a handful of capsules in your mouth. And if you have a sweet tooth, we've made it even easier because you can eat some fruit snacks, right? So they at that point are like, absolutely, this sounds amazing. And we tell them to hop on board. You know, we have a Facebook page and we'll add you to that and whatnot. And they say, okay, cool, how do I place an order? And I say, I need an address and credit card. That's it. Address and credit card. And they're like, well, that's it? And I'm like, you need 2 products, right? You need shakes and capsules or fruit snacks. And people are surprised. And I know in our head, like a T120 order is like the optimal, right? Like that's the most we can possibly sell. We make a lot of commission off of that. We get a lot of PVC off of that. So in our head, we're already compartmentalizing it that we're asking so much of people, right? Do you guys think it's a lot to ask of people to spend $3 on a meal? That's what the T120 boils down to, $3. How many of you know somebody who spends $6 on a Starbucks daily, right? Or I ask, you know, what do you typically eat on a regular day? And they'll say, oh, Qdoba or Tokyo Joe's or Subway or whatever. And I ask them, what do they spend? And they say, probably $10, easy. I'm like, cool, what if you could get 2 meals for $6? So what I tell my team to do is make it really simplistic, right? People say, okay, this sounds amazing. What is the cost of it? And you guys should get really good at saying $6 a day, which isn't bad because it's about $3 a meal. It takes place of 2 of your meals. Isn't that cool? So the price is the best part of our program. It's not asking a lot of people. And I had a customer the other day saying, I only need 2 products. Really? 2 products? I don't need anything else. This isn't like smoke and mirrors. 2 products, right? I need my capsules and my shakes. I'm like, yeah, that sounds pretty simple, right, guys? We try and make it so complicated, but it's not. So I say you get 4 months worth of stuff shipped to you. If you don't like it after 30 days, just let me know. We'll take care of it. But most people, I would be shocked if you came back to me in 30 days and say you don't like it, because, you know, I've had a handful of people in my 3 years of doing this that have ever done that. And so you're already placing it that it's out of the norm for that to happen. But, you know, we do have a 100% money back guarantee. We need 2 products, and you need to remember 2 things: gluten and dairy free. And you need shakes and capsules. Is this making it pretty easy for you guys? So, and also, if you've never put in, who has never put in a T120 order in the system? Okay, so a few of you guys have never. And granted, I can't see everybody. But it's 4 boxes of shakes. 1 order of capsules, 4 boxes of shakes. So you're making about $103 just off a retail sales profit for that order, for 1 order. So imagine the paycheck you could get a brand new distributor if you shared what I am sharing with you, right? And that's the whole name of the game, to teach people what you're doing. So if you get good at submitting T120 orders, the way that I like to say it is, are you interested in making $1,000? Right? I'm putting in their order. They're like on board with the program. And I just say, you know, this is the opportunity that was presented to me. And it's really easy to make an extra $1,000 doing this. I don't know if you might be willing to have a happy hour. I'll come and do all the work for you. And you can just see how easy this business is and how fun it is. Are you willing to maybe have a happy hour to see if A, we could get your product paid for, and B, if we could make you $1,000 while we're at it? Does that sound bad to anybody? Does that sound sales pitchy to anybody? Right? It's like, hey, I'm going to help you out, girl. Let me come help you, right? So $1,000 by doing T120 orders is VFing somebody, right? About I say $100 an order. Okay, and that's at the beginning level, so that's no commission on anything. So $100 an order times 7 is $700, and then $350 added on top of that makes it $1,000 or $1,050.
Wow.
Is that easy or what?
No, when you say that, it's like, holy moly, like that's so simple. And you can see how right when somebody signs up and they make 1,000, like, wow, keep going, like, whoa.
Well, not only that, right? So Stacy and I are NMDs now, and I don't know what level everybody else is on this call, but we're going for qualifiers now. And that's also the name of this game, right? Qualified businesses. It also helps every single person earn a more steady paycheck. And that money is guaranteed. You know, these commissions can go up and down and everything. And if you want more of a stable paycheck, which we all do, right, so that we can only do Juice Plus, you need qualified businesses. So getting somebody to VF their first night makes it really quick, makes it really easy. And that is how I built my business to NMD so quickly, is I never mentioned the product without mentioning the business. And it's not a sales pitchy thing. It's not like begging people, oh, please, like join my team. I really need some. No, that's too needy, right? It's like, hey, let me help you out. I know you need some extra money. Like who do y'all know? Does anybody know anybody that doesn't need a little extra money? No, right? Like we all need extra money. Like anybody that's gonna be like, nah, I don't need that $500. You go ahead and keep it. Anybody you know that maybe wouldn't want free product, right? So you just always offer it. So I say get their address and credit card, and I say, hey, if you're interested in getting your product for free, all you need to do is find 2 people. Or if you're interested in potentially making $1,000, host a happy hour. So it makes it pretty easy. Do you guys have questions wrapped around that? Feel free to unmute and ask questions. And
anybody have questions on the part on what she's talked about so far? Nobody? Okay. They're just taking it all in.
All right. Let's see, what else?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, please.
When you say if they're interested in making $1,000, at that point, are they signing the distributorship form before you do that, or how do you steer them into that?
It's kind of on a personal level. So I always say you don't even have to sign it until we have your happy hour. And if you happen to get orders, then we'll set you up as a distributor at that point.
Okay.
Right? Or if you think like your mom and best friend want to hop on board, we can get your products for free today for you. Like you're going to get a debit from your account, but then you're going to get a check right back.
Right. Okay.
So I do try and sign them up with. I don't hardly ever sign anybody up that isn't already a DD. Okay. I want them paying for their product right out of the gate.
Okay.
Because then there's zero risk, right? That's another thing. If you tell me as a personal trainer, like it's $50 risk to this, if it completely flops and it's miserable and your clients don't like it, which is going to be very strange, then there's a $50 risk, which you're actually going to get right back if on your own product.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Good question. Anybody else? Okay, so one of the other things, Stacy, we had talked about that you wanted me to share is kind of the explanation behind gluten and dairy free. Because is anybody getting some reluctancy, like when people are like, oh my gosh, I have to go gluten and dairy free, holy cow, that's a lot. Anybody raise your hand, raise of hands? There's some reluctancy there. So let me ask you a question first, and feel free to participate. I feel like this is more fun if y'all talk with me instead of me talking at you, so feel free to participate if you're not super noisy in the background. So you're getting some reluctancy. Are any of you that raised your hand reluctant to do gluten and dairy free yourself? No. Okay, because sometimes that energy rubs off on people. Like if you think it's really hard, you know, let me just give you an example. Like, okay, the T30, it's an amazing program. I've seen fabulous results from it. You know what I thought was so difficult is gluten and dairy free, but you can go ahead and do that. It's 30 days. It's just gluten and dairy free, right? Like I'm reluctant. It's rubbing off on you, right? So our persona, the way we're talking, our energy rubs off on people. You know, if I present it in the manner of, yeah, we're rocking this program, we have a ton of people doing it, and the only thing you have to do is go gluten and dairy free, which you got to worry about one meal, right? It's not hard. And give some examples, like a chicken salad. You could literally have steak and potatoes, you know, for your husband who's going to complain that you're doing this diet, right? A, it's not a diet, and B, you can have steak and potatoes. Are you on board? Right? So keep in mind that your energy portrays onto people. So that's my first advice. But also giving an explanation behind the power of why are we going gluten-free. I always say, like, you could tell people until you're red in the face, like, yes, it's gluten and, you know, do gluten and dairy free. But if you don't tell them why, there's no power behind it, right? I could say you need to do 100 push-ups, but if I'm not going to tell you that, you know, at the end of it, you know, if you do 100 push-ups every single day, you're going to have ripped arms, right? You're going to do the 100 push-ups because you want ripped arms, right? So same thing, you're going to do gluten and dairy free because you want what, right? You want to lose weight. You want to see your result. You want to get rid of your acne. Yes, thank you very much. Get rid of it. So people say, oh, what if I get in the middle of it and I slip up? Or, you know, maybe I'm calling to check in on a customer and, you know, they were having great results and then all of a sudden they came to a screeching halt. One of the questions I always ask is, did you implement gluten and dairy free? And grade yourself on a scale of 1 to 10 how great you were at doing gluten and dairy free, right? And they'll be like, well, it was a 7, right? So if you explain right off the bat that going gluten and dairy free helps reduce inflammatory response in your body. And one of the reasons we want to do that is because when inflammatory response is low, your body is more likely to detox. And I know some of you are taking notes, so I will say that again, okay? So when you go gluten and dairy free, your inflammatory response is really low. And you're more likely to detox if you're not putting the inflammatory agents in your body constantly. And if you want to go further in depth, like let's say you really want to impress the personal trainer or nurse or doctor or whatever that you're talking to, the whole point of detoxing is to get your body to reach what's called homeostasis. And that means that your body's just like chill and you're seeing results from your workout faster, you're seeing weight loss results faster, you're seeing whatever result you're looking for, you're going to see it faster because your body is going to respond to the program. Most of the time our bodies are in fight or flight state, which means my body's like under attack, right? I like have my armor up and I'm like, nope, not going to cooperate with anything. I'm not going to cooperate with losing weight. I'm not going to cooperate with anything because I'm in defense mode. Okay, when we're putting inflammatory agents in our body constantly, we're in fight or flight mode, which is why we don't see results from working out, which is why we don't see results from dieting, and so forth. Does that make sense? Do you guys need me to repeat any of that?
Makes awesome sense.
It's more powerful.
What was, when we were talking yesterday, what was the way you said, like the fifth, I forget your scenario, but it really, what was I'm a picture person, but how did you say it?
So I say, you know, if you get in the middle, let's say you get 15 days in, you know, into this T120 or T30 or whatever you guys are selling, and you eat a chocolate chip cookie. I'm just going to say that because that's my downfall, like warm chocolate chip cookie out of the oven. I can't say no. So you're 15 days in and you have a chocolate chip cookie. What happens? It's like slamming the brakes at a red light for your detox. So it's just going to put it on hold for a second because your body's going to go, well, I was chill and I was working with you and I was understanding that I wasn't under attack and you're putting all these healthy things. But whoa, what's this? Like, oh my gosh, I need to put my armor back up. Does that make sense? So it's like slamming on the brakes to your detox. So if your customers aren't seeing results, chances are they're not going gluten and dairy free. And that's why I ask a lot of questions. Our whole job is to educate people, you guys. Right? And the more education we provide, the longer those customers are going to stay with you, and the more likely they're going to become team members as well.
Hey, real quick, I know I just want to, because I love this part, that I asked her yesterday when we were chit-chatting, that I said, how many, like, I think I asked you, like, how many trio orders do you have compared to T120? Girls, 0. Not one trio. How many people do we, like, as we're talking, we're like, oh, I didn't want to, the trio, it's expensive.
Oh.
You're like over the duo, and you just think like, I'll let you take over from there.
Yeah. So yeah, you were like, oh, I'm sure you have trio orders and stuff. How do you distinguish between it? And I was like, I don't have trio orders. Here's the deal. Again, for the sanity of simplicity, I only offer one thing. There's one choice, right? And if there's one choice, people don't feel as if it's more expensive than the other. And actually, I'll give you the frame of mind of why I think it's harder to get a trio order than it is to get a program order. So let me put it in this frame of mind for you, okay? I had told you that I compartmentalize Juice Plus when I wasn't educated about what it is into a multivitamin, right? Does anybody else do that right off the bat? Like I thought it was a multivitamin. Well, your people educated you good. Stacy educated you good then. But with that being said, how much do people spend on a multivitamin? Right? Like $7, $10.
Not a ton, that's for sure.
Right? So I'm going to ask you to spend $76 on gummies or $71 on capsules. Compared to my $10? No way. No way. That's so expensive. Right? People are going to compare it to what they know. Right? And so that's A, why I spend so much time explaining what it actually is and how it's different. But B, so the $76 or the $71 is going to be additional money coming out of my budget every single month. You want me to spend that in addition to my groceries, in addition to food for my kids? Dude, I don't have that money, right? Okay. The way T120 comes into play, it's taking place of something. It's going to help me save money, right? So I go to Subway every day for lunch. Most people eat out. I think it's something like 95% of Americans eat their lunch out. That's crazy. That's a lot of money, right? So I gave that Subway comparison, right? Even for the $5 footlong, I'm going to want an iced tea and chips, right? So that's going to be $10. And so what I'm going to tell you, instead of going to Subway, instead of going to Starbucks, instead of your glass of wine every single night, whatever it is for you, you can do this. And it's pretty much free. It's going to take place of what you're eating, right? 2 of your meals are going to be taken place of. So your grocery bill ought to go down. Your eating out bill ought to go down. And so it's $6 a day, guys. It's easy. So that's why it's easier for me to sell that. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Anybody have questions so far with what she's talked about?
You're unbelievable.
I don't understand the $6 a day because the shakes are $2 a piece, so that's $4, and then the capsules are like what, $2.50.
So a bag of shakes is $110, and capsules are $70. So that's $180 divided by 30, which is 6.
Okay, cool, thanks.
Right? Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for us to we try and make it so complicated. And the simpler you can make it, the easier you make it for your customer, the easier you make it for your distributor, the more likely I'm going to love it, be on it for life. Right? If I understand that me not placing my shake order when I run out is going to cost me more money because I'm going to eat out again, I'm going to place that shake order. It's going to save money. That's the last thing I'm going to get rid of on my budget if I'm budgeting, because it's so cheap. And if you just present it in the manner of it's taking place of it, right? And let's say somebody complains about pricing. Do people get complaints about pricing? Probably all the time, right?
Yeah.
That's where the business opportunity comes in. So there should be no excuse as to why they are not going to do the products if they want to do the product. Because you just say, hey, well, if you can't afford it, I totally get that. I was there, which is why I decided to get mine for free. Are you interested in that? Find 2 people. I did my mom and my best friend. Cool, right?
So a personal trainer, I have 2. I'm just they just lost their job at the gym. The gym closed, so I'm just dying to get them on this. But so if they're already really fit, what is the reason that they would consider doing this program?
It's a great question. So the program is, although weight loss, I call it a side effect because it's funny. Weight loss is a side effect of our program. That is not the main reason we do it, right? I have Olympic athletes in Colorado Springs Olympic Training Center taking these products. They're not overweight, right? So I challenge, actually, this is what I do to my trainers in fitness. I give them a sample of the complete, and I say, hey, just will you do me a favor? Will you help me out for a second? I'm doing this survey, and I'm reaching out to health professionals because you guys know your stuff. Will you take this protein shake post-workout for me? And just let me know if you felt, taste, what do I do? Taste, look, I have baby brain, sorry. Like taste and see a difference. Feel, taste, see, and feel. There we go. A difference of, like, from what you are using, right? Do it within a 20-minute window of working out. Just do it one time. And then I'm going to follow up with you. Is Friday a good day? I'm going to follow up with you Friday to, like, conclude my survey that I'm taking. And I just want to know if you felt a difference. So that way they already got to taste it. It tastes amazing, right? I do staple a recipe to it. My favorite one is just a shaker bottle, almond milk and coconut water with a scoop of chocolate. That's easy for us trainers. We're not going to blend something at the gym. It's gross in the gym, right? We don't eat at the gym. But if you ask me to help you out, why not? Sure, you're giving it to me for free. I've got nothing to lose. I get a free protein shake. Heck yeah.
So do you actually give them the coconut water too, or you just give them the bag to try?
I just give them the package, and I just say, just make sure that you don't mix it with something dairy. And I say, this is my favorite recipe. I've stapled it to it.
What was that recipe again?
Oh, I do like a cup of almond milk, about a half a cup of coconut water, and a scoop of the chocolate. And I just do that in a shaker bottle. If y'all haven't tried that recipe, it's like a Wendy's Frosty. You can't go wrong.
What?
Yeah, serious. My favorite. And actually, I'll admit that I prejudged these products a bit as a trainer because I knew it all. I'm telling you guys, I knew it all. Everything there was to know about it. That's my job, to know it all in this industry, right? But I didn't know it all. So I've humbled myself since. But I looked at the ingredients of the shakes and I prejudged it. I said, there is no way that that's going to taste good. If it doesn't taste good, guess what? My clients aren't going to take it. I can't sell that. So I did start my business off by doing trios because I didn't try the shake. And guess what my first recipe of a shake I tried was? The coconut water one. And I'll never go back. I have that one every single day now. It's crazy.
Lindsey, I have a question for you regarding like the leadership side of the business more. So I'm a doula and have a nutrition degree, and a lot of my team will tell me sometimes, they'll be like, well, everybody's going to listen to you and you're going to get the order quickly because of your background. And I wonder how you coach your team with that, because I imagine as a personal trainer, you might get some of that same stuff. So how, I mean, I hear you talking and keeping it simple, which is duplicatable. So I'm sure that's part of it, but just if you wouldn't mind kind of talking about how you have managed your team and helped them promote without them feeling like they have to know everything.
Right. Well, that's a wonderful question. And that is something that, everyone says, oh, you're a personal trainer, so that's why you got to NMD in 18 months, and I couldn't possibly be you. And no, it's not. Actually, I didn't even bring it into the gym that I work at until I was a QNMD. They were actually going to fire me for selling the products. And I said, you know what, go ahead. Like, I'm so passionate about this, I can't not share it. And so I didn't know if I was getting fired or had a meeting or getting fired or maybe have a potential team member. But went in the gym, joined my team right before I hit NMD. But yeah, it's a fabulous question. The cool thing about this company is we don't have to know it all in order to do it, right? Because we have everybody has access to these healthcare professionals that do know it all, right? So someone asks you a question, I tell my team to get really good at saying this statement. absolutely. I'd love to provide you with that information. What's your email? And I'd love to send over that research about diabetes to you. Right? Will it help with such and such? Will it help with this? Will it help with that? The answer is yes, because there's nothing fruits and vegetables won't help with. Helps with anything I say, from a canker sore to cancer, right? The answer is yes, it will help. I'd love to send you the research. Again, very simple, very duplicatable. Does that help a little bit, Stace?
Yes.
No, that's awesome. It wasn't
Thank
me
you.
talking. That was Tara, but I have her
Oh,
son.
oh, she's under your name, huh?
Yeah, it's
Just
very
caught that. I told you I'm a little slow, right? Not sleeping at all with a newborn, so.
Oh, whatever. You look great. Okay, so will you share with them, a lot of them, because my journey, well, we talked about my journey. My journey was, I didn't get the whole thing for 8 years, you know? And then when I started, it was just, I tinkered with it. And so I would love, I know there's a couple people on here that would love to go super fast and to NMD in 18 months, you know? That is something they would absolutely love to do. So can you do me a favor and share, what was that like? And share, what did your calendar look like? Bam, just that's awesome.
Okay, so this was like the month before I went on maternity leave. There, do you guys see like one day that doesn't even have anything on it? Like there is something every single day. And that has to do with treating your business like a business, right? Like not treating it like a hobby, showing up every single day and putting in the energy and effort into it. And I'm not going to say it wasn't easy. Everyone's like, oh, what's your magical trick, right? My magic trick is keeping it simple. People get simple. They don't have a lot of time. They don't, they don't have any of that, right? So the simpler you keep it, the more duplicatable you are, right? I'm not duplicatable as a personal trainer. I'm not duplicatable if everybody has to have their degree in physical education and health, right? So I do try and leave that out of it, But the way we go super fast is you talk to everybody you come into contact with every single day, right? We all go to the grocery store. We all go to the bank. We all pick up kids from school or whatever, right? We all go and do these things, right? Every single person, just make a commitment. Every single person you come into contact with, you're going to talk to them and get their information. Okay, not hand out your business card, but get their information. So let me give you an example of this. Okay, we all go to the grocery store. I don't think there's one person that doesn't go to the grocery store. So I'll use that as a typical example. We can all relate, right? You're in the checkout line. I always see if they take notice maybe of what I purchased, right? And I make just a joke like, gosh, it's my like one rule to not come to the store hungry, because like you'll always buy the entire store. Because they always ask, did you find everything okay, right? That's like that's the saying that they say no matter where you are. I think it's like an international saying when you're at the grocery store. And I say, yeah, I think I found too much. And my rule is to not come to the store hungry. How did I do? So then they start to take notice, and you can see if they're noticed, oh yeah, you bought a ton of produce. You actually did pretty good. People come by here and they buy all sorts of junk. That's the response you get. So it's a quick joke, right? And then I compliment them. I would say, well, gosh, I love that you're health conscious. And I say I own a health food agency. You can say I partner with the #1 nutritional products in the world. You could say Juice Plus if you want. I have found that doesn't work. I own a health food agency, and I'm always looking for like-minded individuals to join my team. Would you mind if I sent you some information? And they go, yeah, sure. Why not, right? I'm making $7 an hour as a checker. And I say, here's my phone, right? We all have this on us when we go to the store too. We can all relate. Are you on Facebook? Most of the time they're on Facebook, right? I say, find yourself. Go ahead and find yourself on Facebook, right? So they friend me, or I friend them on Facebook, right? Because they're finding themselves. And then they start watching my Facebook, and I don't even really have to send them information. They just start seeing that I'm having fun and that like, you know, what Juice Plus really is. Maybe they see the picture of like fruits and vegetables. This is a really good one. And I can share this one with you, Stacy, to share with everyone. It's something that I made that I use every single day. And it just creates intrigue. Let me see if I can find it. Sorry, bear with me for a sec. But can you guys relate to that? Like, is that duplicatable? Like, you can do it at the bank, you could do it.
Hey, so Lindsey, when you do that, you're more after to get on Facebook with them than you are their cell phone number, right?
Yeah, I do a lot of business on Facebook.
Well, that's why, the reason I asked that is because I was talking to a girl that was a single mom she served us at the restaurant. So awesome. She's actually really into this. But what I found is she responded at first, and I know this is something she could do and that she's going to do this one day. But where I messed up is I just got her number, where Facebook, you can still feed them through Facebook, where if you text them, then you're just kind of annoying, you know?
Right.
So
You set them up to Facebook stalk you.
Yes, absolutely.
Create the curiosity, have them watch you. So I don't know if you guys can see this.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
It doesn't say anything about Juice Plus. It just has the ingredients, right? Oh, sorry. But they ask, okay, so what products? It's a health food agency, whatever. You talked about fruits and vegetables. What does that look like?
Wow, that's awesome.
So I can share that with you so that you guys feel free to copycat it.
Yeah.
But people go, wait, what? Those are the ingredients of your products? So yeah, that's what makes us the #1 nutritional product in the world. It's real food. Cool that you can, understand what it is, right?
Yeah, no, that's awesome. Yeah, will you send that to me? That'll be perfect, and I'll send
it.
Okay, so with your going fast, so your calendar was booked all the time. What made you decide that this is what you wanted to do, that you were going to go all the way?
That's a good question. I didn't really have more to this. I just want to prove to myself that it was doable, right? Like, and I'm competitive. I had mentioned that I grew up as an athlete and everything else. And, I was like, well, why not? Like, I'm going to give it my all and really see if this company is what everybody says it is, right? Because in my experience, every single thing that says it's, that sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So I just kept like waiting for there to be something, which is crazy because we're all skeptics at heart. But when people have skepticism of this business, you can relate to them by saying, yeah, I did too, actually, but this is what I did to kind of remedy that. I always just say, give it your all and see what happens, right? Your risk is $50. So there is no risk with it. So, just go for it. So there wasn't like a really big motivator, although I think being pregnant for some reason motivates me because it's like a time window that I have to get something done in before I don't have any time anymore, right? So I decided I was going to hit the top commission level before I had my first daughter, which I did. And then I think that was actually really eye-opening for me because I went on maternity leave and my paycheck actually increased, which as a personal trainer, that's another way you guys can get us. We don't make money if we're not training, right? So if we're not training, we're trade dollars for hours. So it was really cool that there was money coming in that I wasn't doing anything for. I was, right? I mean, I was on maternity leave with my baby and my paycheck went up. That's insane. So that's kind of what opened my eyes to the possibilities of this business is I ultimately, for my family, want to be able to do whatever we want when we want it and not be held down by a boss. I was actually coming from a management position where the more money I actually made the gym, the more successful I made our training department, the more of my paycheck that the boss of our gym wanted of me. So I was working my butt off for somebody else. I was making good money doing it, but I was working crazy hours. And it's just I wasn't happy, right? I wasn't in control of my finances because they renegotiated my paycheck 4 times within a year. So I really liked the idea of being able to make 6 figures that I was in control of and have full benefits. I don't get that as a trainer. That's another thing you guys could snag us with, right? Full benefits and, residual income. I didn't even know what residual income was, but I saw it when I went on maternity leave, which made it really intriguing. So that's why I kind of was like, all right, let's see what else I can do with it, you know?
No, I absolutely love that. Okay, so with, I know it's already 7:20. So with that, you went super fast, and we know, you know that with your schedule looking like that, there was some sacrifice, right? To get somewhere, there's a little bit of sacrifice there. And tell me, truthfully, if that's the word, yep. Was that worth it to you? And what did you get out of it? What did you gain? And all of that put together. Because you know how life is busy, baseball, you know, well, my life is baseball and this and that. It's just all over the place, birthday parties. And tell me, for you, just your part of that.
Yeah, I mean, we all have busy schedules. You know, all excuses are equal in my mind, right? So I could have blamed, oh, I have a newborn, I couldn't possibly do this business, feel sorry for me, right? Like, because I'm busy. No, it was really cool that I could do this business with a newborn, right? Like in between diaper changes, I was text messaging people I didn't even know through Facebook, right? So yeah, I think it's really important that if you are in a relationship that you talk to your significant other about what you're trying to do, because without the support of my husband, there's no way I would have been able to do that with a newborn. No way. Yeah, we gave up, you know, we gave up date night. We gave up. It was just like, you know, let's give it all up and see what happens. And does the reward outweigh the sacrifice, right? And so, yeah, you know, I think we shot for NMD for 2 months in a row. It was 60 days. And I hear that over and over and over and over again. That, you know, it's not just like a 30-day surge. If you're Q right now, it doesn't just take 30 days extra to get to NMD. It's like a 60-day surge. So it was 60 days of putting the pedal to the metal, all support, 100% support from my husband to do it. And having that discussion with your spouse, really, it gave me the opportunity to be able to just put the pedal to the metal and go out, you know, get out of the house, go talk to people, go on play dates, go, you know, your job is to be a professional friend maker. Just make friends everywhere you go. If you're at a restaurant, talk to the waitress. If you're at the bank, talk to the teller. I'm giving out samples constantly, but it's very rare that I give out a sample that I don't get an order from. So we sacrificed that money going into samples, and the reward has been absolutely phenomenal. The reward is that I'm on maternity leave. My baby's 9 weeks old. That's true what they say about your second one, that you don't count the weeks, right? So 9, 10 weeks old. I'm still on maternity leave. Everyone's asking, like, when I'm coming back to the gym. I don't have to be a personal trainer anymore. If I didn't want to go back to work, I don't have to. How cool is that, right? My maternity leave could be 3 years. I mean, it's whatever I want. And if that's not worth the risk that we took to go ahead and give up some time of 60 days to try and do it, I don't know what else to tell you. Like, you either get it or you don't, you know? Again, I keep it pretty simple. Like, I don't have to work anymore if I don't want to. I love what I do, so I will, but to not have that power over my head, I'm in charge of my own paycheck, my own hours, my life. I'm in charge of that. Nobody can take anything from me. It's pretty legit.
I love that part when you were saying how you can just go outside. You do your training from outside. You take the kids with you, or you can, or you know, you can do. And I love that because it's true.
How much is it?
You do this job with your kids. You do this job with your kids half the time. You know.
But do you need to eat dinner?
So yeah, I absolutely love that. Does anybody have any questions for Lindsey?
Yeah,
I do.
Sally Joe?
Sorry.
Yeah, Lindsey, it's Sally Joe. Question, you mentioned just a second ago that rarely do you give out samples and that you don't get an order from it. So I'm curious, how do you determine who to give samples to? Because it seems like all I'm doing is giving out samples and I'm not getting any orders. So I'm curious about your presentation and what can you share with me so that I can turn that around?
So I'd ask you, how do you give out a sample?
Let me see. Well, I just talked to you about the products, that the shakes are amazing, that I have them twice a day. And that, I mean, just, that's really it. And they're like, well, do you have samples? And I'm like, yeah, sure. And then I follow up and they're like, oh, it's too gritty, or, you know, this, that, or the other. And I'm like, okay. So it's just not working for me. So, I mean, I would do really good if we kind of role played a little bit. I know I don't want to maximize anybody else's time, but I think that's what I need. If I can just see it, then I can duplicate it. But I just need to see it.
So I don't know if you guys use GoPro at all, but there's a lot of power in the statement, if I, would you?
Right. I get a lot of people that are interested in the videos that way. So I think it was last month or the month before, I was on fire using that technique.
So if I don't have a whole lot of samples, you create some urgency, right? Like you don't have a million samples to give everyone. You don't give samples to everybody.
Okay.
But if you're genuinely interested, right? If I go get a sample out of the back of my car, right? My team members joke with me that like I have a Jeep and they call it the Juice Plus Mobile because the back of the car is samples. Like that's just how I roll. I have them with me all of the time, no matter where I go. And I also have my T30 pitch book. Do you guys use that, Stacy?
Yes.
That's my Bible. I don't go anywhere without it because if I'm at the grocery store, I'm like, boom, look at these ingredients. It's amazing, right? But anyway, needless to say, if I run out to my Jeep to grab your sample, if I go all the way out to the parking lot and I come all the way back in and I'm dragging my kids, if I go and do that for you, would you let me know what you think? That way I don't have to follow up with them either. It's eliminating a step. Pretty cool, right?
Okay.
As you say that, Sally Jo, and she talks, it does. There's times that we just give people stuff, and anybody, if you go to any event that you just go around the tables and they put free stuff in your bag, people just like free stuff, and you do have to put this big value on it, because if not, they're like, sure, I'll take it, yet they have no thought of actually taking it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty stingy because that stuff is like crack to me. Everything that when I give them away, that means one less shake that I have. And I know that's selfish, but I am pretty generous.
Ooh, it's true though. You don't have a whole lot, so you create some urgency, like that. You don't just like, if you are genuinely interested, I will go all the way out to my car to get that for you. Like I'll do you a solid by going and doing that, but that's a huge favor, right? So it creates some urgency behind it. Mm-hmm. And the other thing I say to create some urgency is, hey, we're kicking off a challenge. Even if we're not, guys, like these challenges go all of the time, right? But for whatever reason, what's the date today? The 19th. Hey, we are kicking off a challenge on the 30th of this month. We'd love to have you join. And, orders need to be in 5 days, need to be in by the 25th in order to get our, you know what I mean? Like if we're kicking off a challenge on the 15th, the orders need to be in by the 5th of the month. So you let me know. We're kicking it off. We'd love to have you join. We have like 25 people joining us. Like join in the fun. I'll go grab a shake sample. I don't have very many, but I'm willing to give one to you to see if you might want to join our challenge. Right? Like, so it's creating urgency. Like your order needs to be in if you're going to do this, sister. Right? And I'll give you my last shake sample. I might have one more left. I'll go check. Right?
Okay.
Like it just creates a different type of energy behind it.
Okay.
Like you're like, I don't have very many because I've given them out to so many people and there's so many people joining my challenge that like I might have one. I'll go check.
Okay.
That right there is so true, because you don't want to miss out on something. If all these people are doing it, you don't want to miss out. So is there any other questions real quick? Linda, looks like you're talking, but you're muted. Either that or you're talking to yourself.
No. So thank you, Stacey. Does she do, you know how Luke said he did, an event every week, a live event, a Zoom event, or a recording? Does she do those routinely, events?
Like for team or for customers or?
Customers.
No, I don't.
Are you talking about to get customers?
Yeah. Like, do you have a live event or an HLP party, whatever? I mean.
Okay, so she's asking you just like generally as a team where you are in Colorado, do you guys do like weekly events?
Yeah.
Nope. You know what's so crazy is that actually my business, I do better and I'm more personable to people one-on-one. And I know that sounds nuts that I built my business so fast on one-on-one meetings. You know how many coffee dates I had at Starbucks? Like, that was my office, right? But the reason why that's so easy is because I can still talk to 15 people in one day and make it more personable to them. And like an example, I mean, my team is doing how to recruit 20 people in 30 days right now from Eric Worre. So we're trying to recruit 20 frontline in 30 days right now. Seems insane, right? But it's really cool because we can take, like, one of the things I decided to do is go through my old yearbook, right, from high school, right? I haven't talked to those people in forever, right? So I'm going through, I'm finding these people on Facebook, or maybe I still have their number in my phone, and I'm saying, what's up, sister? Like, long time no talk, let's catch up. When are you free, right? That right there is an event to me, right? So we schedule a coffee date, and I ask all of these questions about them. What are you up to? How are your kids? What does your husband do for work again? What's this? What's that? Ask a million questions about them, because then they're going to come back and ask me what I'm up to, right? And then I don't have to sell anything. And I just say, like, oh my gosh, having an amazing time. I've built this nutritional business. It's been so awesome. It's given me all the power in the world to stay at home with my kiddos. And yeah, it's amazing. I don't know if you might know of somebody that might be interested in joining my team, but we're actually in building mode right now, right? I'm not asking them, right? I didn't have this meeting to ask them that. But hey, if you know somebody, could you send them my way? You know, if they want to be wealthier or healthier, do you know of anybody? And they're like, hello, me, right? That's how I do business. So those are my events. I don't have anything fancy. I've got a lot of coffee dates on my calendar, or play dates, or swimming. You know, we take the kids swimming, or whatever.
That's awesome. Any other questions real quick? Maybe one last question? Anyone?
How do you do your training with your reps? One-on-one
I'm
as
sorry,
well?
say that again.
How do you manage your training with all your reps? How do you support them, and how do you do training so they can learn from you?
So once they sign up, or even if they're not signed up but thinking about it, their job is to invite, and I'll go do a happy hour for them, or a Zoom call for them, or a three-way call for them, or a coffee date for them. Their job is to simply invite, get a coffee date, get people to your house to drink some wine, and I'll do the rest.
And then you present the 120?
Yep. And then if, the more they hang out with me, the more they start to learn my verbiage and get comfortable with saying it themselves. So again, we make it just super simple. So you sign up, great. You don't have to know anything, just invite. You probably want to have a girls' night at your house anyway. Let's do it.
When you go over there and do that presentation for that new rep, do you do the booklet, or do you actually just talk and share your story?
Oh yeah, no, I do the pitch book. Yep. And I give them a pitch book right off the bat. If they sign on to be my team, I provide that printed out, bound pitch book so that they have it. That is their Bible. They have all the answers to their questions right then and there. Even if they don't know the answer, they can flip to the page.
Okay, that's perfect. Dude, Lindsey, you're awesome. I can't thank you enough for jumping on here. Were we good with all the questions, or did I miss anybody?
Can we befriend you on Facebook?
Yeah, absolutely.
He's like, no.
Just
that was a really bad question.
Just know if I don't respond right away, there are like 400 people waiting to be requested, and occasionally I go through and just friend everybody. But like I said, with a newborn right now, just don't be surprised if it takes a second for me to accept your request, is all I'm saying.
Okay, just remember Sheila Roberts.
You guys can follow me as well. And if you hit follow, and if you hit that we're close friends on there, my stuff will pop up in your newsfeed right away. So I don't have to accept your friend request in order for you guys to see my page. It's completely public. But just know, like, I'm not being mean by like not accepting a friend request. There's it would be 400 clicks to get through everybody.